Seattle Seahawks still alive in the playoff picture against the San Diego Chargers in what could be the last game for head coach Mike Riley. Trent Dilfer starts at quarterback for Seattle, and the opening kickoff is coming up. Back in San Diego, overcast skies today in Southern California, but otherwise a very comfortable late December day. Hello, everyone. Bill McAtee along with Trevor Maddich. Some great storylines this week. Could be the last week for Mike Riley here in San Diego.
And Riley's very popular with the Chargers players. They'll be emotional today to send him off with a win if it is indeed his last game.
Mike Riley has been the dominant story here in San Diego this week. For more, let's go down to Scott Kaplan, the third member of our broadcast team today.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. Still no official confirmation from John Butler that Mike Riley will get fired after this game. John says he knows what he wants to do with the coaching job. He's just not 100% set, and he said there is no timetable right now to make his decision. Back to you, Bill.
All right, Scott, thank you. Playoff picture a bit clearer now as you look at Mike Riley, who has endured the growing speculation about his job with each passing week of the losing streak, but he has done it with his typical grace and good nature, ending a season that started with such promise at 5-2. But as we said, Seattle has gotten a lot of help. Things have fallen into place, and now they have business to do. They have to win out in order to have any chance. And we're underway. Rodgers will down it in the end zone. And Seattle will take over 1st and 10, and here is that playoff picture.
And the New York Jets lose today to Buffalo, and they have to play at Oakland next week. If Seattle can win their next 2 games, including today, and if the Jets lose in Oakland, that means Seattle is in.
Or if the Ravens lose against Minnesota next week on Monday night. So Seattle starts 1st and 10 from the 20. Dilfer complete and a first down. Bobby Ingram, who has come in and done a nice job as the third wide receiver. Trent Dilfer making his 3rd start for the Seahawks this season. In fact, Dilfer is perfect, 13-0 in his last 13 starts. It's been over a year since he's been a starter in a losing effort. And that includes, of course, the Super Bowl. And he's in today for Matt Hasselbeck, who's out with a separated left shoulder. Sean Alexander.
Head off to Sean Alexander.
Across the 35 to the 36. Mike Holmgren in his 3rd season as head coach and general manager of the Seahawks. And the Seattle offense, Walter Jones, one of the best in the NFL. Todd Weiners quietly put together a fine season. The backs and receivers, and in a disciplinary action, Corn Robinson not starting. Instead, James Williams is the starter at the 2nd wide, but Robinson will play, and Alexander, of course, will try to add to his impressive numbers against a tough San Diego run defense. Dilfer swings it out to Alexander. Down at the 37, Orlando Ruff made the tackle. The Chargers on defense. Wiley and Johnson have combined for 21 sacks. The linebackers, Junior, 10 consecutive Pro Bowls. And in the secondary, Lloyd Harrison becomes the 4th starter this season at left corner. Tay Cody, still hobbled, will be the nickel. And Rodney Harrison at strong safety, one of the best. 4 wides for Seattle on 3rd and 7. On the blitz, Dilfer sacks. Rayleigh Johnson and Rodney Harrison.
And Trent Dilfer told us yesterday he cannot imagine. Watch the loop inside by Rayleigh Johnson. Right up the middle, number 99. Trent Dilfer, who's getting smacked right now by 2 of the biggest hitters on the Chargers defense, said yesterday that he couldn't fathom why the Chargers had lost 10 games with a defense that's that good.
Jeff Fiegels on to punt for Seattle, standing back at his own 13-yard line. Glenn Milburn is the deep man, and a short punt. Milburn fields it at the 32. Down at the 38, a 41-yard punt and an 8-yard return. And we'll get our first look at Doug Flutie and the Chargers when we come back to San Diego. 12:35 left to play in the first. Doug Flutie, 39 years old, 5-10 as a starter here in San Diego. That's Conway in motion. 1st and 10 from the 39. Tomlinson out to the 41. Look at the Charger offense up front, the same combination that worked well, especially on the ground last week. Parker stays at left tackle. Ed Ellis gets his second start at right tackle. The backs and receivers, Trevor Gaylor, his second start in the absence of Jeff Graham. Tomlinson closing in on Rookie of the Year, 145 yards last week against the Chiefs. 2nd and 8 from the 41. Short drop from Flutie. Tomlinson, who was the motion man, driven out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Reggie Tung, the strong safety, made the stop. And here's a look at the Seattle defense. The front four, Eaton and Randall in the middle. Randall with 9.5 sacks. Sinclair and Hilliard are the ends. The linebackers, they are outstanding. Simmons, Kirkland, and Chad Brown. The secondary, though, still unsettled. Sean Springs inactive because of a hamstring. Williams and Lucas, the corners. Tung and Robertson, the safeties. 3rd and 3 from the 46. Toe, the man in motion, short drop for Flutie on the slant, incomplete. And that was intended for Trevor Gaylor. Ken Lucas, the right corner, had the coverage, so San Diego will go 3 and out.
Well, Trevor Gaylor is in there for Jeff Graham. His father died in one car accident last week. A terrible, tragic thing, and it's further depleted an already depleted receiver corps for San Diego. There's not a lot of choices for Flutie anymore.
Darren Bennett to punt for San Diego, twice in the Pro Bowl, including last year where he averaged over 46 yards a kick. Charlie Rogers, the deep man for Seattle, he waits for the fair catch and makes it. 44-yard punt, no return. Back to San Diego after this. The 46th meeting between the Chargers and the Seahawks in what has been a very close series over the years. Seattle leads at 23-22. Seattle has won the last 3 and 8 of the last 10 against San Diego. 1st and 10 from the 9. Dilfer up top. Was trying to go deep to James Williams, and it was overthrown. Some bumping with Lloyd Harrison, but no flag. Well, very simple for Seattle to get into the postseason. They have to win their 2 remaining games, and either Baltimore or the Jets, because the Jets lost today against Buffalo, have to lose.
And the Jets are at Oakland, and that game for the Raiders may have implications for them getting the 2nd seed and therefore a first-round playoff bye. It depends on New England.
2nd and 10. Alexander. Pummel. Rayleigh Johnson. Often overshadowed by Marcellus Wiley, but he may be one of the most underrated defensive ends in the National Football League, and just before the game was named the Chargers' Outstanding Lineman of the Year.
He lines up on the right of your screen, and he looks like he's unblocked, but he's not. He actually defeats a block and then closes to take out Alexander in the backfield. That's the kind of speed that he's got from his defensive end position.
Loss of 3, so 3rd and 13 for Seattle. Draw. Alexander, the ball came loose, but the ground caused the fumble. And now let's check in with Jim Nantz in New York for an update.
All right, Billy Mack, the Steelers needing a win to clinch home field. The Bengals looking for the upset, though. Extra point try wide right by Neil Rackers, coming after Kitna's 2nd touchdown pass in the final 3 minutes to tie it. They're going to overtime. Well, we got 21 seconds to go. Still, it's Cincinnati, all tied at 23. Let's go back to Bill and Trevor.
Wow, thanks, Jim. Keep you updated on that game as it finishes out at a shank punt by Jeff Feagles.
That went out of bounds.
What a rare thing for him. He's one of the most consistent punters in the National Football League. And he just tried to launch that thing to get as much field position out of it as he could, and he shanked it. That's something you'll rarely see happen. It's a perfect snap. Now watch him lean his body back. He leans back a little too far, and I think that interrupted his drop because he was trying to get more distance out of the punt.
He put 6 inside the 20 last week against the Giants, averaged almost 46 yards a kick last week, and that was only 13 yards. So great field position to start for San Diego. From the 27-yard line, Tomlinson picking his way down to the 21. Marcus Robertson and Willie Williams combined to make the tackle.
Well, Bill, we talked about the emotion that the Chargers would play with. If this is the last game for their popular coach, Mike Riley, they want to send him out with a win. And in that case, Seattle must squash that emotion and not let it feed on itself. And I'll tell you, that punt feeds into San Diego's emotion.
Oakland with the early lead over Denver. The Eagles up 7-0 against the Giants. Flutie with time. Caught by Conway.
Well, this is very soft coverage. Willie Williams is only about 5'8". He's one of the smallest guys on the field, including the kickers. He gives Conway just a ton of space. Now, here's number 80, Conway. He's going to come up. Where's Williams? There's Williams, way out there. So Flutie watched him the whole time and just waited for him to make his break. There was no need for any particular great timing on that because of the cushion.
A pickup of 14. First and goal from the 8. Tomlinson lines up behind Fred McCrary. Right side. Tomlinson inside the 5. And that's the story. San Diego in the red zone.
Well, part of the problem there is a tight end. Tight ends figure in hugely, both in blocking and passing in the red zone. And Freddie Jones should be one of the best receiving tight ends in the NFL, but he's been nagged by injuries all year, and it's really played out in the red zone with their lack of production.
Trevor Gaylor is checked in. He's wide to the right side. Conway wide left. Flutie over the middle. Touchdown, Conway. The 6th touchdown reception of the year for Curtis Conway.
He's going to look to his left the entire time. He stares at Conway because he sees him on Lucas, the rookie, and he knows that Conway will win that battle.
The extra point is good, and the Chargers trying to snap a vicious losing streak. Grab the early lead, 7-0, 7:55 left in the first. Thursday on Survivor, with only 2 episodes left, the stakes are higher than ever. Who will make it to the Final 4? Find out on an all-new Survivor Africa. Thursday on CBS. Wade Ritchie's kick, taken by Charlie Rogers at the goal line. Finds a seam up the middle, gets it out to the 29-yard line. And that's where the Seahawks will start 1st and 10. And let's check in with Scott Kaplan.
Guys, you can see Lloyd Harrison, the starting left cornerback for the Chargers, being taken off the field. They're looking at his right knee on the Jeff Fiegel shank punt. Lloyd came off the field. He was limping. He was writhing in pain. He's now going into the locker room, and we'll see if he's going to make it back into this game. Back to you, Bill.
All right, Scott, thank you very much. 4 plays, 26 yards. A short drive for San Diego. Seattle 1st and 10 from the 29. High formation. Here comes Sal on the run blitz. The ball is bobbled by Alexander, but I think he got it back.
Well, Junior Seau got into the backfield almost in time to take that handoff. He saw that coming. And you know something, Junior, as good as he is, here he is right here. As good as he is, he should never be able to get in like that. The problem is he knows that the fullback, being 3 yards deep, has to get to him before he can get into the backfield. And you know what? He's faster than the fullback.
2nd and 13.
of 3, second and 13 from the 26. Short drop for Dilfer. That's nearly picked off. Ryan McNeil, who already has 8 interceptions, had that one and room to run for a touchdown.
And that could have been a touchdown. Take a look at Darrell Jackson, number 82. He's going up the field. He doesn't break it off. If Dilfer's on the same page with him and throws it deep, that's a touchdown. Because Ryan McNeil, as you can see right now, is very near the NFL lead in interceptions, breaks on that. And you know what? He'd have broken anyway. Unfortunately, Dilfer thought it was going to be a sideline pattern.
McNeil won off the team record held by Charlie McNeil, no relation, which was set in 1961. So in 3rd and long, Dilfer. Ingram almost made a spectacular catch, but couldn't hang on.
I'll tell you what, San Diego's defense right now is a little bit on its heels. They've got to be wondering what's going on because it was only miscommunication to save the touchdown. And look how open Ingram is. There's another touchdown if Dilfer can hook up with them. Now, Dilfer hasn't practiced a single play with the offense until this week, since week 5, because the backup quarterback in Seattle doesn't practice. He's rusty.
Jeff Fiegels trying to make amends for his last punt. Meanwhile, there's a flag down. High wobbly kick. Fair catch called for and made at the 32. Let's check the penalty, and it looks like a procedure call against Seattle.
This is so rare. That's 2 special teams gaffes in the first quarter for one of the best special teams units in the league. Their coordinator, Pete Rodriguez, absolutely honored as one of the very top guys in the league, and this doesn't happen to them, especially when the playoffs are still there and in reach.
Illegal formation, kicking team. The tackle was off the line of scrimmage. We'll have a 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
Tom White, our referee. Seattle has played remarkably penalty-free. Only 2 penalties in the last 2 weeks. Both came against the Giants after playing the entire 60 minutes against Dallas without drawing a flag. Only 2 teams, in fact, have had fewer penalties this year than Seattle, the Jets and the Bears. So 5 yards back, and now Fiegels stands at his own 6. And San Diego looks to once again start a pretty good field position. Line drive punt. Great opportunity for a return here.
I'll tell you, that was amazing coverage there, Bill. There were 20 yards between the coverage guys and the returner when he caught that ball. Great coverage.
10-yard return by Glenn Milburn. 7-0 San Diego. And read Phil Simms' thoughts on how home field advantage in the playoffs is not as important as many people think.
I want to read that, Bill, because I think it's important.
Just go to NFL.com, Trevor, or AOL keyword NFL.com. 1st and 10 from the 40. Flutie up the sidelines for Conway, and there's a flag. Interference will be called.
Pass is intended for Curtis Conway. Willie Williams on the coverage.
Again, Flutie staring at Conway the whole time. It's his only real viable veteran receiver that's left on the team able to play, with Tim Dwight also out to injury. And going against an experienced veteran in Willie Williams. Williams is called on this interference because he impedes Conway. Even though they're both looking back at the ball, that doesn't mean that either one of them can do an arm bar across the other one's chest.
Pass interference. Number 27 defense. The penalty is declined. They'll take the result of the play. 1st down.
Now watch number 27, Willie Williams. He's looking at the ball, but now he's just at the beginning of that, his arm was across Conway's chest. Then they had incidental contact with their feet, and he falls down. But it's that arm bar that gets called.
Seattle gave up 338 yards passing to Kerry Collins last week, which dropped them to 21st in total defense, their lowest ranking of the year. So 1st and 10 from the 22. Tomlinson can't get outside. side. Stopped at the line of scrimmage by Anthony Simmons, who's coming off another outstanding game last week against the Giants. He made 8 solo tackles.
Yeah, Levon Kirkland, who came in from Pittsburgh, says that Anthony Simmons is one of the best linebackers he's ever played with. And when you talk about those linebackers, Greg Lloyd, Kevin Green, the guys he's played with there, that's high compliment for Simmons.
Anthony Simmons keeps a picture of Levon Kirkland hanging in his locker to motivate him to join Kirkland and Chad Brown as Pro Bowl linebackers. We got some great linebackers today. Junior Kirkland, Brown, and down at about the 15. John Randall made the stop.
Now, as good a linebacker as Anthony Simmons is, LaDainian Tomlinson, the rookie, just made him look stupid. He spun out of that tackle. What an absolutely terrific move by Tomlinson. And talking yesterday to Kirkland, he said that Tomlinson isn't quite at the level. Look at that spin move out. Simmons had him dead to rights right there.
Moody 5 of 6 for 68 yards. 3rd and 2 from the 14. Tomlinson is the motion man. Wide right. Flutie to Tomlinson. Can't hang on. Tomlinson caught 13 passes in a game last month against Arizona. So he has pretty good hands.
And he has about, now look, he's lined up way out there and nobody goes out. You can see Paul Miranda, the corner, is pointing at him saying, hey, who's supposed to cover this guy? A linebacker would have to go out there in man coverage like they were in and cover him on the sideline.
That'll bring out Steve Christie, who has hit 4 of 6 since joining the Chargers. And that one's good from 32 yards. So San Diego able to extend their lead with 4:39 left in the first. CBS Monday. You see the Ellen Show?
I have not.
It's pretty good.
I've heard
pretty
that.
funny.
I've heard that.
So 4:39 left in the first. And a line drive kick that's taken by Kerry Joseph, the up man, and he's stopped out across the 30. Gets to the 33-yard line. And that's where Seattle, who has struggled on offense, will start 1st and 10. 12 total yards for the Seahawks, 79 for San Diego. 3 possessions for Seattle, 10 plays, and 3 punts.
Part of that is San Diego's defense, but part of it is that Dilfer really is rusty. Holmgren doesn't practice his backup quarterback ever. The only practice time that the backup quarterback gets is with the scout team against the defense, and anything he gets after practice, throwing to guys that'll stay with him.
Seattle ranks only 25th in total offense, 7th in rushing, but 27th throwing the football. Alexander slips, trying to turn the corner on the left side. That'll be a loss of 1.
You see, this is the other problem. When you're rusty, when you don't have the offensive rhythm going on, then a guy like Junior Seau, who is so disruptive, is all that much more disruptive. And Seau knows what Seattle tries to do. He's been playing against Holmgren for a long time, and he went from his back position, got right up into the line, and busted that gap. And so that disrupted the whole play. 4 of Seattle's 11 plays have gone for negative yardage. That was a loss of 2. So 2nd and 12. Seau on the blitz. They pick it up. Alexander finds a hole. It's down close to the 40. Gerald Dixon made the tackle. It was interesting in talking to Mike Holmgren yesterday. Said that his offensive philosophy this year goes against what he likes to do. The formula has been to try to get it to Sean Alexander 30 times and then to throw it 20 times. He said he doesn't want to pound the ball in there, but he feels that this kind of play gives the Seahawks their best chance to win. Yeah, and he kind of sneered, you know. He doesn't like to run the ball that much, but he feels he has to now. 3rd and 4. The Seahawks were only 3 of 12 in 3rd down conversions last week. Incomplete, and again Seattle will have to punt. And again, Trent Dilfer, whose calling card is that he doesn't make huge plays very much, but he doesn't make the big mistake, has now had 2 balls in the first quarter bounce off of potential interceptors' hands. Jason Perry, the backup safety, who already has 2 picks, had a chance for that one. Intended for Darrell Jackson, so Glenn Milburn is back once again for San Diego, and Jeff Fiegels stands at his own 25-yard line. Fiegels did a good job fielding the snap.
Milburn will let it bounce out of bounds.
What they hit with a loud thud. Our Paradmite guy is there, hit right at his feet.
Well, coming January 15th on CBS, the creator of JAG brings you a new drama that dares to take you inside the Supreme Court. Joe Mantegna and James Garner star in First Monday. Don't miss the series premiere Tuesday, January 15th on CBS.
So if you're an actor and you want to play a role that makes you look distinguished and powerful, that's your role.
33-yard punt. San Diego 1st and 10 from their own 28. Flutie steps outside to buy some time. Caught by Conway. What a beautiful play.
You know why it was beautiful, Bill? Because he wasn't looking for Conway. He was looking for Trevor Gaylor going deep. And he was about to throw it when the pressure flushed Flutie out of the pocket. By that time, Gaylor was too far for Flutie to get. Now, he wants to throw to Gaylor now, but he's got to move, so he can't throw it that far anymore, so he tosses it short. Great adjustment.
What a wonderful touch. Conway, 4 receptions already for 77 yards and a touchdown. Chargers close to midfield. Prairie's the motion man. Flutie will throw again. The screen to Tomlinson. Has some room in Seattle territory, and San Diego's first down.
Well, I tell you what, Seattle has got to pick this up. Right now, it's all San Diego. San Diego has no chance of going to the playoffs. Their coach may be fired. This is the last game of their season, and San Diego has taken complete control. Just a little screen, and he heads out to the sideline, and that's a nice play. It's a nice job, but it keeps the chains moving. Seattle is alive, Bill. They have got to play like it. They can make the playoffs.
From the 40, 1st and 10. Flutie, 7 of 9 for 100 yards. Out to Tomlinson. Nice job hanging on to the ball, and another San Diego first down.
Now, why are they going out to the perimeter like they are and not too much in the middle? It's because the middle of the Seattle defense is the strength of it. They've got Levon Kirkland in there, Chad Eaton, John Randall, and so they're running outside mostly, and they're throwing the ball to the outside, so that then those big, powerful guys in the middle are negated.
1st and 10 from the 28. Prairie again in motion. Tomlinson stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're having their success out in the perimeter, and that's one of the things that Norv Turner brings to you. He's got more ways to attack the perimeter than almost any other coordinator out there, with so many different kinds of screens and delays and tosses.
Anthony Simmons made the stop. Tomlinson came in, ranked 4th in the NFL in rushing with almost 1,200 yards. Second and 11. Flutie. Conway. It's already been a long day for Willie Williams, the left corner.
It has, because he's being asked to play man-to-man, Bill, on Conway this time, and Norv Turner expected an 8-man front and man behind it. This ball comes out now. The ball's in the air about 3 strides before he even makes his break. Norv Turner expected man coverage behind an 8-man front to stop Tomlinson, and he's done a good job of getting those wide receivers open against that man coverage.
They spot it outside the 10, so San Diego can still get a first down. Flutie again buys time. That's why he's so dangerous. Conway. No signal, and now a flag. Tom White, our referee, will sort things out.
When the hat's off, it usually means somebody stepped out of bounds. If the receiver stepped out of bounds, he can't. Whoa! If a receiver steps out of bounds,
an illegal touch by an ineligible receiver. Number 80 went out of bounds and came back in bounds and was first to touch the ball. This is a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
The reason you know they're talking about that is that they throw their hat on the ground as soon as they see him go out of bounds. That way they can say, look, I did see you go out of bounds. I tossed my hat off. Therefore, you have topless referees and officials. Well, topless, though.
The foot go out.
They don't take their shirt off.
The back of the end zone. So 1st and 15 when we come back to start the second quarter. 10-0. San Diego from Qualcomm Stadium. The Chargers driving once again, and a reminder that Seattle loses today or next week. That means that the Ravens and the Jets are in the playoffs regardless of what happens next week. 1st and 15 after the penalty from the 16. Tomlinson on the draw. Down to the 7.
This is where John Butler thinks Tomlinson looks a lot like Thurman Thomas. Makes those kind of breaks. He saw that the hole that he originally intended to hit was closed, but he kept his shoulder square to the line of scrimmage, and he was able to cut to his left and get back up into that hole. John Butler knows a bit about how Thurman Thomas ran and sees a lot in this young man of his former All-Pro player.
Tomlinson 19 yards on 6 carries, 2nd and 6. Just underway in the second quarter here in San Diego. Tomlinson again. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Von Kirkland made the tackle. As we mentioned, Tomlinson coming off his best game of his young NFL career, 145 yards last week against the Chiefs. Here are those in the hunt for Rookie of the Year, but Tomlinson is considered a very strong favorite.
And you know, you look at those yards that he's gotten, that's in the midst of an 8-game losing streak. And so it's easy to pile him up when you're ahead and running out the clock. But Tomlinson has done it on a team that hasn't had the continuity at offensive line.
Flutie will throw. Incomplete. Tomlinson was in the vicinity. Tomlinson is the Chargers' first 1,000-yard rusher since Natron Means in 1994. So Steve Christie will come on to try a field goal from 25 yards. As long as only 31 yards since joining the Chargers. This one is good. 13:31 remaining in the half. So far, all San Diego. 13-0 Chargers, and coming up on the Nextel halftime report, join Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights as the playoff picture comes into focus. Miami qualifying for the postseason earlier today. Charlie Rogers takes it at the 10. Gets it out to the 23. Jason Perry made the stop. And let's send you now to New York for an NFL update and join Jim Nance. Jim?
Let's go back out to Bill and Trevor.
How about that? Dilfer will throw on first down. And that's caught by Bobby Ingram out across the 35 to the 38-yard line. Ryan McNeil made the stop.
And Bill, that Cincinnati victory over Pittsburgh is a big deal for Seattle here, because if Seattle can win this game and then win next week at home against Kansas City, keep in mind that the Raiders now have a chance to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They play the Jets at home next week. If the Jets lose and Seattle wins out, the Jets are in.
Safety blitz. The screen. Alexander still on his feet. He's got a first down in San Diego territory.
And the whole point of that, that's a terrific run, and Seattle's starting to wake up, and they need to, because that Cincinnati win over Pittsburgh means that Oakland is going to play hard against the Jets next week, because the game means something. This is just a little screen, and Alexander lets his block set up, and then he just goes outside. They're starting to get it going, and Alexander is the guy that's going to carry this Seattle offense on his back to victory today if they should pull this out, because he's the best offensive player on the field for the Seahawks.
Pickup of 17. They spot it at the San Diego 43. Dilfer going deep. Jackson, touchdown. The 5th touchdown reception of the year for Darrell Jackson. 43 yards.
Boy, he did it against tight coverage by Ryan McNeil. Take a look at how Jackson uses his body to shield off McNeil as he gets under the ball. He just uses his body because that ball is not thrown way out in front. Very good play on a veteran cornerback to be able to make that catch.
Trying to become the first Seattle receiver to go over 1,000 yards since Joey Galloway in 1998. Ryan Lindell on to try the extra point.
And Bill, I would like to officially welcome the Seattle Seahawks to today's game.
Dilfer in that possession, 3 of 3 for 76 yards and the touchdown, 13-7.
Welcome back to San Diego. The Seattle Seahawks are down 13-7 to the Chargers. The Chargers' already depleted secondary has just gotten one more ding in it, and that is left cornerback Lloyd Harrison. He is gone for the game with a right knee problem. Again, Lloyd Harrison will not be back. Up to you, Bill.
All right, Scott, thank you very much. That's taken by Ronnie Jenkins, who's always dangerous, having an outstanding year, 2 returns for touchdowns, and finally brought down at about the 30-yard line as Seattle strikes quickly. Alex Bannister, the rookie wide receiver, made the stop. Dilfer, 43-yard touchdown pass to Jackson. And it's 13-7 San Diego. Seattle in a must-win situation, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. There's the veteran quarterback, 13-0 in his last 13 starts. In fact, he's won 17 of his last 18 in which he started. San Diego will go to work at their own 30. Tomlinson, right side. Cuts it back and gets down to the 34. Isaiah Kazavinsky, the second-year linebacker out of Harvard, made the tackle.
San Diego continues to attack the perimeter. They're completely staying away from the interior of that Seattle Seahawks defensive front.
Tomlinson, by the way, came in with 1,497 total yards. Needed 94 to break the club record set in 1965 by Lance Allworth. 2nd and 6 after the pickup of 4. Hayden is the man in motion. Straight back Flutie. Over the middle. Incomplete. He was trying to hit Freddie Jones.
And he just took too long to throw it that time. Freddie Jones settled into a hole in the zone, but Levon Kirkland saw him and was going over there, and by the time Flutie released the ball, Kirkland was close. Take a look at big number 99 in the middle of your screen. He's going to head over there. Goes the wrong way, then he comes back. Well, he wasn't much of a factor as he looked like. He takes up a lot of space. You know, he was between me and Freddie Jones, and I couldn't see that half of the stadium.
Freddie Jones, who caught his 4th touchdown pass of the year last week against the Chiefs, but it has been a disappointing season for Freddie Jones this year. Flutie on 3rd down, under pressure and sacked. John Randall, who came in leading the NFL in sacks by an interior lineman with 9.5, and now he's got 10.5.
And you know what? It's a good thing he's leading, because number 70, Michael Sinclair, would have gotten this sack. He may get a half a sack. So far, out of the defensive end, Seattle has had 3 sacks the entire season. Randall now has 10.5 all by himself, and so he's been the entire pass rush amongst that defensive front.
So we'll see Darren Bennett, Charlie Rogers, standing back at about the 44-yard line. So Seattle figures to start in pretty good shape. It's a good high kick. And lets it bounce. And it takes the San Diego roll all the way back to the 26-yard line. 10:22 left in the first half. 13-7 after the 51-yard punt. Tomorrow, CBS Sports rolls into bowl season. It's fun in the sun when the Purdue Boilermakers take on Washington State in the Wells Fargo Sun Bowl. Live from El Paso, Texas.
So we asked Chad Eaton yesterday, played at Washington State, if he was going to see the game. He said, man, do you have two kids? When you have two kids, you don't sit around watching bowl games, especially when that's all you do all day is watch football.
First down, left side, Alexander, and he's hit hard on the 27.
On the other side of that, Drew Brees went to Purdue, backup quarterback for the Chargers. He's not going because he thought the Chargers were going to be in the playoffs. So he didn't go about making any travel arrangements to get to the Sun Bowl, and then it just got to be too late, so he's just going to watch it at home on television as well. So you've got a couple of NFL superstars from Purdue and Washington State that won't be at the game. One will be watching the game on television, and that man right there is going to be watching some cartoon on television with his two young children.
He's not a superstar in the NFL yet, but the Chargers certainly hope so.
That would be a close one, but I think it's a false start.
False start. Number 82 offense. The 5-yard penalty remains. Second down.
Well, this is where Mike Holmgren knows this team has got to. Let me tell you why there's no excuse for that. Wide receivers never listen to the cadence. They watch the ball. That's so that, if it's a loud stadium, which it is here on the road, they don't need to worry about hearing.
Just in case you missed it, Rodney Harrison pointing out that Jackson was offside. Dilfer got rid of it just in time. Another flag is down. Complete to Alexander, who was pummeled right away. Let's check the penalty.
And look at that.
Holding number 29. Defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's an automatic first down.
Lloyd Harrison, cornerback, is out now for this game. This is Scott Turner. A month ago, he was a full-time minister at his ministry, and they called him back. He's been on the Chargers over the course of the last several years, and he's a good player, but he hasn't been playing football, and that's where the injury to Alex Molden, the former starter at corner, and then the injury to Lloyd Harrison, who started today, and then Tay Cody, the rookie, who's got a sprained ankle. Now Scott Turner has got to come in fresh and raw without a whole lot of game speed time and get in there and play against this spread offense.
Chargers take a timeout. Their first of the game. 8:56 left to play in the half, and San Diego leads it 13-7.
There's never been a better time to get online.
The last game of the year for the Chargers, trying to snap an 8-game losing streak. They haven't won since beating Buffalo at the end of October. Trouble for San Diego has come in closing. They've lost 7 games in the last 3 minutes. From the 27, Dilfer. And that's close to a first down.
And what a play by Dilfer on that. Rodney Harrison Bliss was in his face. Dilfer had to throw the ball around Harrison through the line to get it to his receiver.
Jackson on the slant came into Seattle's leading receiver with 59 receptions, almost 900 yards. Rogers Beckett made the stop from the 38. Powering out to the 42. Sean Alexander Seau made the tackle.
And you mentioned something important, Bill, that the Chargers have played well for 57 minutes and lost it in the last 3. Junior Seau in this defense 7 times this year held the lead with 3 minutes to go and gave up the winning points near the end of the game or overtime. And that's just one of the reasons Mike Riley may be fired.
And 13 times they've lost the lead in the last 3 minutes over the last 2 years. James Williams and another San Diego first down. Rodney Harrison drove him out of bounds.
And don't the Seahawks look like a machine now? Doesn't it look like Dilfer has shaken off the rust and now is developing a rhythm with his teammates that he couldn't develop in practice because he hadn't practiced with them since week 5 against Denver?
Williams gets the start today for Corin Robinson. Seattle in San Diego territory. Go for 7 of
He shields off McNeil with his body, and Dilfer throws a perfect high-lofting trajectory pass. Touchdown. You talk about if he's got rust on him now, I want some of that rust. Look how high the ball goes in the air. That way his receiver can adjust to it, keep his body shielding the corner, and be in perfect position when it comes down to be the only guy to catch it.
48 yards, and Seattle did a good job picking up the blitz. So this extra point to give the Seahawks their first lead. The kick is good, and with 7:19 remaining in the half, it's 14-13 Seattle.
See that is a great movie. A great Schwarzenegger movie. As we look at Ryan McNeil, got torched twice by Darrell Jackson on the exact identical route, identical coverage, identical place on the field. 14 points for Seattle, and that's been primarily their offense, those two plays.
And Trent Dilfer, 8 of 12 for 159 yards, and now the 2 touchdowns, both to Jackson. From the 10, Jenkins takes it. They bottle him up at the 22. Fabian Bones, the wide receiver, made the tackle. Well, that's how he started, 2 of 5 for only 15 yards. But how about that since, Trevor?
Well, he talked yesterday about the rust of not having practiced. I mean, 2 of 5. Think of the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, before oil and after oil. Dilfer has been lubed up.
Meanwhile, Doug Flutie has set a new career mark for passing yards. 3,217 on the year. 1st and 10 from the 23. Flutie. That's caught. But no gain. Chad Brown was all over that play. Tomlinson had nowhere to go.
And the Seahawks on defense now picking it up and matching the offense's effectiveness, matching the offensive rhythm.
2nd and 9 from the 24.
Again, this is a team that, went through some very tough losses, including last week against the Giants, where they lost it on a 96-yard drive to end the game. That's how they lost it. Thought that might have knocked them out of the playoffs. Now they're alive again because the Jets lost today, and they're playing like it.
2nd and 9 from the 24. Flutie, play action. McQuarrie, the fullback, and out of bounds at the 30. Anthony Simmons was back in, made the tackle. And again, Seattle has to win today and next week at home against Kansas City, and then hope that either the Ravens or the Jets lose next week.
Baltimore has Minnesota at home. The Jets are at Oakland in a game that's meaningful for Oakland's playoff seeding. They'll have a tough time winning that. That's good for Seattle.
3rd and 3 from the 30. Flutie. Dan Conway. Out to the 37, and that'll move the chains. Ken Lucas made the tackle.
Man coverage, press coverage. Conway a veteran, Lucas a rookie, and gets turned around by Conway. That's why Flutie has gone to Conway whenever he's been up against Lucas all game long in man coverage.
Curtis Conway, the former Bear, back in Southern California. He played his college ball at USC, over 100 yards today, 6 catches. Flutie, pump fake, guns it, and that's caught by Gaylor, and another San Diego first down.
Well, you talk about protection. The offensive line of San Diego has been really maligned this season. Some of it's been their fault, some of it has been unfair. But on that play, the protection that allows Gaylor to come all the way across the field before Flutie drills the ball to him is just stellar, especially against John Randall in there. That route takes a long time to develop. Now he's waiting, and then he takes the shot late, but it's very late.
Gaylor, 4th-round draft pick last year. Flag is down. Into Seattle territory, a scuffle breaks out.
They're scuffling with Big Ed Ellis down there, right tackle of San Diego. Got to be careful. If he sits on you, you'll be squashed flat. He's a big man.
Preliminary signal against San Diego. Mike Riley says, yep, move him back.
Well, at this point, emotion is gone. Chargers came into the game wanting to win for their coach.
Holding. Number 71 offense. The 10-yard penalty remains. First down.
That's right, guard Domingo Graham. And this is one of the things that's fair about the offensive line and the criticism that they've taken. He's going to be at right guard. The problem is they'll play well over the course of several series, and then each guy takes a turn messing up. And you can see right there he had number 1, Anthony Simmons, wrapped up.
First and 20 from the 41. Flutie. He'll keep it. Turns it up. Finally slides down. Back into Seattle territory.
This is one thing that Chad Eaton told us. He's the one that made that tackle. He's number 90, Chad Eaton. That with Flutie, they want to keep him in the pocket. He called it a butt technique, a butt call, which meant that all the butts of the 4 defensive linemen are facing out, going in on Flutie so he couldn't squirt through the gap. They didn't do it that time.
Clock running, 3.5 minutes left in the first half. Flutie again to throw and throws it away. Gaylor was in the vicinity. Reggie Tung had the pressure coming on the safety blitz.
And most of those completions were made on the run or made when he was about to get hit. So he's got an internal clock that is uncanny, knowing when he's got to get rid of that ball and when he's got to bug out.
The San Diego player is down on the field.
Looks like Von Parker. He's been there starting right tackle all game long. They moved him to left tackle because Damian McIntosh had the flu. Played well there last week against Kansas City, so they kept him there for this game. The problem is, if he's out, that's going to make their best offensive lineman not on the field in a time when they're really going to need him against the defense that's going to be blitzing more and more.
Parker's second-round draft pick in 1994 out of UCLA. And a reminder, coming up on the Nextel halftime report, join Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights and a complete look at the playoff picture.
When the Chargers win, take that
Nextel halftime report.
24-hour fitness.
Parker's still down. Take a look at the play.
Take a look at his right leg. Oh my, yeah, that's John Randall, falls on his knee. You know, that's one thing, Bill, that you're always careful about with the offensive line. You might be able to throw a defensive player down, but you don't do it because if you throw him down, he might land on the leg of your offensive line mate that's next to you. Now, that's Raleigh Roundtree, number 74, playing next to Von Parker. He didn't throw John Randall to the ground. He just sort of tripped and fell down, but that's a point of coaching that you always make. It looks good on film if you throw a guy down, but sometimes you're going to injure your teammate if you do.
Parker's still down. Timeout on the field. 14-13 Seattle. Von Parker helped to his feet. Let's check in with Scott Kaplan. Scott?
Well, Bill, things are just getting worse for the Chargers down here as Von Parker tries to walk off the field. He's playing at the left tackle position when his natural position is right tackle, and Vaughn has not been happy about having to move to the other side. And also, Scott Turner just left the field holding his right arm. This is a guy who Trevor was just recently talking about, was in the ministry just a few weeks ago. So things really not going well from an injury standpoint for San Diego right now. Bill?
Right.
All right, Scott, thank you very much.
Part of the problem is that they're running out of backups. I mean, there is nobody to play corner now for Scott Turner, so they do not have a nickel corner at this point.
Meanwhile, 3rd and 9 now from the 48.
Damian McIntosh, who's had the flu, is back in his left tackle position, number 77.
Seattle has taken the lead with 14 unanswered points here in the second quarter. Flutie from the gun. Dumps it off. Freddie Jones, the tight end. fumbles the ball, but he was already ruled to be down, and that will bring up 4th down.
And here's what they did. Von Parker out, the guy with the flu, McIntosh is in. They're going to run a loop, and Parker's going to stay, or check that, McIntosh is going to stay inside. So Chad Brown comes in, Antonio Cochran comes around the outside, and they missed the pickup. Because you've got a guy that hadn't played or practiced for a couple of weeks, and Seattle went right to that position to run the game.
Darren Bennett averaging 48.5 yards per punt. Charlie Rogers stands back at the 10 for Seattle. Good high kick. And down inside the 10 by San Diego, Nate Turner. Got it. So Seattle will start deep in their own territory. The day filled with playoff implications. We've talked a lot about Seattle. They must win today and next week against Kansas City, and then hope that either the Ravens or the Jets lose next week. The Jets playing at Oakland, and the Ravens finish up on Monday night against Minnesota.
Well, Mike Holmgren, in a situation like this a few years ago, actually turned off the scoreboard scores so his team wouldn't look up there and monitor other games.
Alexander, right side, picks up maybe 2. In fact, there were so many different playoff scenarios coming into this weekend that Mike Holmgren said before the game. His daughter Gretchen, a couple weeks ago, was home from college, started giving him all the possible scenarios. He said it was so complicated, he couldn't listen to it. He asked her to stop. He said, all I know is we have to win.
That's what you get when you send your kids to college.
There's the 2-minute warning. 14-13, Seattle. 14-13 Seattle after San Diego got off to the 13-0 start. Bill McAtee along with Trevor Madison. How about the rhythm that Trent Dilfer has gotten into?
Yeah, he was in no rhythm at all earlier in the game, and all of a sudden he exploded for 2 long touchdown passes. San Diego is going to have to play their safeties deep to help those corners now. That'll open it up for Sean Alexander in the running game.
2nd and 9. 2 minutes remaining in the half. High formation. Dilfer with the pump fake, trying to go deep again. Incomplete. That was intended for Darrell Jackson, who already has 2 touchdown receptions. Well covered by Tay Cody.
And a nice job by Tay Cody. He's missed several games this year with a sprained ankle that is still nagging him, and he's now forced into service. Davis Sanchez played last week, number 33. He's out now. Alex Molden's out for the season. All these corners, Tay Cody now has to play. Look at the passing yards. First quarter, that's rust. Ever since then, that's all it took for Trent Dilfer to get it back together. If he wins today, it'll be 14 in a row, Bill.
3rd and 9 from the 8. Alexander, left side. Had daylight for a brief instant, but that closed in a hurry, and the Chargers come up quickly to call timeout. Junior Seau made the tackle.
Now remember, down here in the first quarter, Jeff Fiegel shanked the punt terribly, led to a Chargers score. Let's see what he does this time.
And again, we'll see Jeff Fiegels. Here's Glenn Milburn, who was signed in November after the injury to Tim Dwight. Tim Dwight, such an important part of the San Diego attack as the 3rd wide receiver on offense, but also his game-breaking ability on special teams.
And Doug Flutie takes the blame for the lack of production in the passing game or consistency during the losing streak, but part of it was he didn't have his receivers on the field.
Fiegels 5 yards back in his own end zone. Milburn stands at the 42. Good kick. Milburn at the 38. And out of bounds just short of the 45-yard line. Good field position for San Diego with 1:35 remaining in the half. A 52-yard punt and a 7-yard return by Milburn.
Now the Chargers only have 1 timeout left. They do have time to work the middle of the field, however. The question is going to be, how can Seattle get pressure on them? They're going to have to blitz because their defensive line, except John Randall, has not been putting pressure. And if they blitz, they're open for a big play. It's a quandary.
He's spotted at the 44.
Hey, watch the trap!
Three wides. Bends it over to the right side. Conway, and he's into Seattle territory.
Well, they ran that same game on Damian McIntosh, who's in for Von Parker now at left tackle. It worked the time before. This time they got it figured out. Take a look at the twist. Take a look at Damian McIntosh, 77, and Raleigh Roundtree, 74. This time they picked it up. This time Flutie had time to deliver the ball.
And Curtis Conway with a career high 1,079 yards receiving. Second and short, 1:30 remaining in the half. Flutie again complete. Trevor Gaylor. Ken Lucas made the stop. They'll move the chains again.
And they want to save their last remaining timeout just in case they need it at the very end to stop the clock for a field goal.
Chargers up in a hurry. Flutie steps up. The flag is down, and here comes another one. Throws it out to Tomlinson at about the 40-yard line, but the penalty will go against San Diego.
Bill, it's good and it's bad when you have a scrambling quarterback. It's good because it limits what the defensive line can do. They have to stay in their pass rush lane and not be too creative. But here's where it's bad.
Holding. Number 69 offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's Ed Ellis. It's bad because you got your guy in front of you as an offensive lineman. Big Ed Ellis is blocking his guy, and all of a sudden the quarterback takes off, so your guy takes off at a funny angle, and your first instinct is grab the guy and don't let him go. And if his jersey gets pulled away from his body, the official sees it, they throw the flag.
San Diego back to the 49. Conway is the motion man. Flutie. And that was almost picked off by Anthony Simmons. Chad Brown closed quickly from behind Flutie. Got rid of it just in time.
They dropped Chad Brown down to defensive end during passing situations, and he that time came right around McIntosh, put the pressure on Flutie.
Chad Brown, such a key to this Seattle defense because he's asked to do so much.
Oh, it's not McIntosh. They've got two tight ends on him. Well, I'm sorry, Damian McIntosh. I blamed you for that. That was actually the tight end.
Second and 20. Flutie brings it out to Jones. Short pickup. It'll bring up third down. Clock will stop with 51 seconds remaining in the half.
And just as an aside here, Bill, the reason I wanted to make that correction on Damian McIntosh is that those poor offensive linemen, they get blamed for stuff that's not their fault. I don't want to be a part of it.
You know what that's like.
I know what that's like, and I know what it's like
nice.
to get away with it when it is my fault. But now it's 3rd and 16. Let's see where they're going to go.
Okay.
From the 48 of Seattle, Flutie plenty of time, and it's picked off. Ike Charlton with his second interception of the year. A pass intended for Trevor Gaylor.
Gaylor made a nice effort to try to catch this ball. He ends up tipping it up in the air, but Charlton does a terrific job of tipping it again. The ball goes up, and Charlton tips it so that he has time to go back down the field to be able to make the interception. And that's huge for Seattle. Once again, make a big play at the end of the first half. Take the halftime with a lead, and that's what they want to squash the emotion that they know the Chargers will play with because of the popularity of their coach who's on the bubble.
Trent Dilfer will have 42 seconds. 28-yard line. See how aggressive Seattle is here. San Diego coming on the blitz. Locks it up. And that was intended for Bobby Ingram. Incomplete. 37 seconds remaining. 2nd and 10.
And the Seahawks have all 3 of their timeouts left. And so with 37 seconds remaining, as long as they can get first downs here, they've got about 4 to 5 plays to try to get down into field goal range. And they can work the middle of the field because they have all 3 timeouts.
Again from the 28. Split backs. Now on the blitz. Alexander. Nowhere to go. And they keep him in bounds. Ryan McNeil, the right corner, was the first man there.
Yeah, and they're actually, the Chargers are calling timeout now. The Chargers have one left. Looks like Gerald Dixon is down there talking to the official calling timeout. I wonder why Seattle ran the ball then didn't call timeout. They must be content to take their momentum.
San Diego.
Yeah.
That's their 3rd Charge timeout.
Mike Holmgren is content to go into halftime with the status quo. San Diego wants another shot at it.
21 seconds remaining in the half. Mike Riley might well be his last game as head coach of the Chargers. A great deal of speculation and published reports that decision has already been made, but the official position of the club is that is not true, that they will not make a decision until the season is over. Once again, a reminder coming up on the Nextel Halftime Report. Join Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights. Please look at the playoff picture.
And they're dialed in. I mean, Jim Nantz talked about the possibilities, who might even succeed him if Riley is indeed fired. And they're already talking about several possibilities. This is Dean Spanos. He's the president of the team and son of owner Alex Spanos. And I talked to him down on the field, and the way he didn't say that the decision was made, but the way he was talking, it sounded like it was.
Seahawks have yet to convert a 3rd down. Dilfer. Does he run?
No way does he run.
Up top. My goodness! And all alone is Jackson. But a flag is down.
Jason Perry, the backup safety, was down there, the closest defender to Jackson. And as that ball was in the air, he was going backwards where Jackson was coming back for the ball, but everybody seems to be coming back.
Was he past the line of scrimmage?
Well, here's the rule on being past the line of scrimmage.
Pass, number 4 on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty, plus loss of down. It'll be 4th down.
The rule is both the ball and his body must both be completely across the line. If a little bit of his rear end, and there's the line of scrimmage there, if a little bit of his torso is behind the line, but the ball is over, it's still legal. Both the ball and his body, both entirely over the line. Clearly it was at that point. And my goodness, what a play that would have been for them.
Again, Seattle takes a 30-second timeout. Trevor, let's take another look.
The 26-yard line, keep an eye on that. His entire body plus the entire ball need to be beyond the 26. Yep. His body's on the 27. Good call.
Trent Dilfer has done a wonderful job coming in his 3rd start of the season. Hasselbeck aggravating the separation of his left shoulder last week against the Giants. In fact, Mike Holmgren said he considered not playing Hasselbeck in the second half, but Matt received treatment at halftime. He took a shot, said he could go out and play the rest of the game. He's had the separation since week 3 against Philadelphia, but he said on the plane ride home from New York, it was different this time, and he knew he wouldn't be able to play. So Seattle will punt. Glenn Milburn, with 9 seconds remaining in the half, stands back at the San Diego 30. Milburn lets it bounce at the 41, takes the Seattle roll down to the 23. And that's the end of the first half. Story of 2 very different quarters. The Chargers scoring 10 in the first quarter, getting out to a 13-0 lead. But behind the arm of Trent Dilfer, Seattle came roaring back, and they lead 14-13. Let's go down to Scott Kaplan.
All right, Coach, a 1-point lead, but you have to get this win to keep your playoff hopes alive. What do you do in the second half?
Well, we have to try and run the ball a little bit. We haven't been able to do that very much. And just play with a little more intensity. We started the game with not a lot of energy, and then we picked it up. So if we keep doing that, I think we'll be okay.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Back to you, Bill.
All right, Scott, thank you very much. That's the end of the first half with our score, Seattle 14, San Diego 13. Seattle with just 19 yards on the ground.
Week and have Baltimore lose to Minnesota to get into the playoffs. If the Seahawks lose today, that'll put the Jets and the Ravens into the playoffs. Lock, cinch today. All right, the Miami Dolphins are in with their victory over Atlanta. New England can win the AFC East if it beats Carolina on the final week of the regular season. Oakland and Pittsburgh, still things to be decided there as far as home field throughout. Oakland can keep its hopes alive if it can win this game today against Denver. On the NFC side, the Giants' only hope comes through winning the NFC East. They must win their last two and have the Eagles lose their last two. That means they must, of course, prevail over the Eagles here this afternoon. Tampa Bay is now set as the number 6 seed and will play at that eventual NFC East champion. San Francisco's a wild card. Green Bay could still win the division, but if they don't, they'll be in the wild card and they'll be playing the 49ers.
Let it go, he says.
And the eventual winner of that Central will have home field advantage.
They'll have a bye.
They'll have a bye the first week. St. Louis has already won the West.
That's the story here in San Diego as we get ready to start the second half. 14-13 Seattle. Bill McAtee back along with Trevor Maddich. A couple of quick strikes from Seattle. A very entertaining first half.
Yeah, well, Trent Dilfer's picked up where Kerry Collins of the Giants left off last week on that 96-yard touchdown drive to win the game in New York. All of it passing yards. You know what? Trent Dilfer, 2 passes, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's most of their offense.
Set for the second half kickoff. Ronnie Jenkins back deep with Glenn Milburn for San Diego. Ryan Lindell's kick. Taken at the 9 by Jenkins. Out across the 25 to the 26. Mike Charlton made the stop. And just a few moments ago, Scott Kaplan had a chance to chat with Mike Riley.
Coach, your team is obviously aware of the speculation about your future. Did you mention anything to them at halftime about the situation and about getting a win?
Oh, no. All we did was talk about the second half and what we needed to do. We just have to protect a little bit more. We've had some great opportunities. We've taken advantage of some of it, but we've got to protect. They're getting a little bit too much pass rush, and defensively we can't give up the big plays. So,
all right, Coach. Thank you. Good luck.
Tomlinson out across the 30. On the first play from scrimmage in the second half.
And boy, you look at Mike Riley's eyes. You know, he's still as cheerful as he's always been, always as gracious with his time, passionate about football. But, you know, his eyes look so tired from when we were here doing games for him earlier in the season.
Well, we mentioned how this season started with so much promise. Everyone thinking playoffs. The Chargers were 5-2, but an 8-game losing streak, and this is their final game of the season. Flutie will throw on second down. After Tomlinson. He gets it close to the 35, driven out of bounds by Chad Brown.
Well, the problem here is this. You know, 5-10, that's losing 8 in a row. 1-5, you lost 11 in a row during that season. But look at the bottom here. 3 defensive coordinators this season. Joe Pascal, who was the architect of this defense, goes out with back surgery, out for the year. Jim Vaccarello, the linebacker coach, took his place for a while, then retired. And now all the coaches on defense coordinated, and Mark Banker, the secondary coach, calls the plays on game day. And it's hard to get continuity.
3rd and 2. Tomlinson. First down, San Diego.
And when you talk about, Bill, that continuity on defense, remember that they lost 7 games this year, giving up the winning points in the last 3 minutes. What that means is that the opposing offensive coordinator had all game long, as we look at John Butler, the general manager, all game long to see what plays work, what don't, what defensive players are playing well, which ones are struggling, and make the last-second adjustments. Mark Banker, who's right here, is having to do that out of somebody else's, Joe Pascal's defensive book, and it's not worked out.
Tomlinson on first down. Close to the 45. Again, the club's official position is that no decision has been made and won't be until after the season is over, which will be following the game today, but that there's no timetable for any announcement.
This is Alex Spanos. He's the team owner. And they tell you that the decision hasn't been made yet, but the way everybody talks, it sounds like they've already decided what they're going to do, and they're just waiting for the appropriate time to do it, and it sounds like Riley won't be here next year.
2nd and 7. Seattle coming on the all-out blitz. Flutie able to get rid of it and complete. Trevor Gaylor. And Gaylor's down to the 35.
And San Diego started this half very conservatively. Short plays, and all of a sudden, they don't bridge it with a medium play. They bridge it with a long play like this. Very nice route, very nice throw, pitch and catch. What makes it work is that they opened up this drive with short plays, and then bang, they go for a strike.
We get the word that Vaughn Parker is out with an injury to his right knee. Here are the numbers for Trevor Gaylor: 3 receptions, 41 yards. 5 receptions in his first start last week. First down for San Diego from the 35. Flutie up the sideline. Incomplete again, intended for Gaylor. Ken Lucas had excellent coverage.
Well, Gaylor's a big, tall guy. He's 6'3", but look how long his arms are. They're abnormally long. And, you know, he's a rookie. Number 21, Ken Lucas, is a rookie. Flutie throws it there thinking that his rookie will outjump their rookie. He throws it too low.
Lucas, a second-round pick out of the University of Mississippi. So 2nd and 10, just underway in the second half. Seattle battling to keep their playoff hopes alive, leading 14-13 after San Diego started with a 13-0 advantage. Over the middle, and Gaylor almost went up and got it.
Well, Ken Lucas on defense again. This time Flutie did throw it up high, just a tad too high. But that's the matchup they want. I want my tall rookie against their medium height rookie. Throw the ball up in the air. Now look how high this goes.
All kinds of pressure from Chad Brown.
Now look at Gaylor go up in the air, and then look at this train wreck. Oh, not good.
So 3rd and 10. They call it the 35. San Diego 2 of 8 third down conversions. Conway is the motion man. Flutie able to sidestep the safety blitz. What a catch! Patrick Bateau, who was on the practice squad earlier this year. Only his 2nd reception of the year, and gives San Diego a first down.
And give Bateau an ovation for that one. This is because of his work on the judge machine. You know, he's used to having balls hit him in the hands, even though he's in the practice squad. Flutie again avoids the rush. It's a corner blitz by Ken Lucas, and one hand goes up in the air, right arm. Oh, what a great catch. Happens because of 2 things. Flutie can create on the scramble. Bateau, even though he used to be on the practice squad, works on catching passes after practice.
1st and 10 from the 19. Tomlinson been fairly bottled up today. 14-13 here. Let's send you to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, 6 minutes to go at Denver in the 3rd quarter, Billy Mack. And Rich Gannon having a hot hand. He's 26 of 28, 243 yards, and that touchdown pass to Brigham. Giants and Eagles tied at 7. Again, the Eagles can clinch the NFC East with a victory today, but the Giants are driving deep in Philadelphia territory. Let's go back to you. Bill McAtee, Trevor Matich.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Seattle hoping for some help next week if they're able to win today. Hoping for help as the Raiders play the Jets. The Jets lost earlier today to Buffalo. Flutie throws it away. That was in the vicinity of Nate Turner.
When Big John Randall had a few things to say to Flutie, he was pressuring him again. Randall right now is taking over his position. He goes over both guards. He swaps back and forth depending on the formation. And he's been just driving those guards back into Flutie's face. And Bill, we've talked a lot about how Flutie has created on the scramble. Well, the reason he's had to scramble is that John Randall has been back into his line of vision.
So another third down for San Diego, 3rd and 10. Flutie, and there's a whistle. They'll stop the play. Tom White, a referee.
False start. Number 77 offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Well, it's Damian McIntosh in for the injured Vaughn Parker, who was in for the ill Damian McIntosh, actually. He's got to go against Chad Brown out there in that 3rd and long situation, and tackles will jump when you go against a fast guy like that.
So 3rd and 15 now for San Diego. 10-13 remaining in the 3rd. Flutie. That's complete, but well short of the 1st down. Pick up a 5 on the completion to Freddie Jones. Willie Williams made the stop, so that will bring out Steve Christie for a field goal try. His long since signing with San Diego, 31 yards, and this will be a try from 40. On its way. Bounces through. And with 9:33 remaining in the 3rd, the Chargers regain the lead. 16-14 San Diego after the 40-yard Steve Christie field goal. 9:33 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Wade Ritchie on the kick for the Chargers. Charlie Rogers takes it at the 14. Out of bounds at the 34. So good starting position for Seattle. 9:24. A lot of stuff happened here, but 3 points.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Proud.
Trent Dilfer will try to answer after the Chargers regain the lead. 9:24 left in the 3rd. 16-14 San Diego. Alexander's the man in motion. Dilfer straight back. That's caught. James Williams. And Williams is out across the 40 to the 42. Ryan McNeil made the tackle. Our interactive poll question today: which one of these potential playoff outsiders is most likely to rebound and make a playoff run in 2002? Tennessee, Minnesota, Indianapolis, Denver, the Giants, or someone else? Just log on and cast your vote at NFL.com. Alexander with some room. Brought down close to midfield. Harrison made the stop. San Diego's leading tackler coming in his 5th 100-plus tackle season.
I asked Mike Holmgren how a young team learns to win. I wanted to know if there was something that he would teach them. He said, you just got to win. The only way to learn to win is to win. The attitude comes after the winner.
Inside the 45 and down to the 43. Junior Seau made the stop. Pickup of 6, 2nd and 4 from the 44. And Seattle right back to work. Numbers for Dilfer: 9 of 15, 167 yards, and the 2 touchdown passes to Darrell Jackson. Alexander. That is another Seattle 1st down or very close. Let's check in with Scott Kaplan.
Bill, Trent Dilfer was wearing his Super Bowl ring yesterday when we met with him, and he said it's only the third time he's worn it all season. The first time he wore it was the first game because his teammates wanted to see it. The second time was the bye week when Fresno State was playing Boise State, and the athletic department asked him to wear it, and he said he gave the worst pregame speech in the history of football, a team that Fresno State lost, a game that they lost. And the third time was for this trip to tell his teammates that anything is still possible. The Seahawks still alive for the playoffs. Back to you.
A year ago, he was leading the Ravens to the Super Bowl. They give it to Alexander with a stutter step. Finds some room down to the 36. A year ago, Dilfer was taking the Ravens to the Super Bowl, and this year, primarily, although he's had 3 starts, but primarily running the scout team for Seattle. But still, what was impressive, Trevor, about Dilfer was his attitude. Very positive.
Well, he said that you don't want to let your circumstances dictate your attitude. And he chose to come here because he wanted to be a better football player at the end of the season than he was at the beginning. He knew Hasselbeck was the guy, but he knew Holmgren could teach him to be a better quarterback.
Pick up a 3 from Alexander. 2nd and 7. The safety blitz. Dilfer gets rid of it, and that's caught by Williams, still on his feet, and a touchdown for Seattle. James Williams.
Touchdown, Seattle.
37 yards, and the first touchdown reception for Williams.
And this is one of the reasons he's becoming a better quarterback each year. He reads man coverage. He knows there's no underneath linebackers to clear, so he can drill the ball to his receiver. That's a quarterback who understands what the defense is trying to do to him and adjusts his play to what the defense will give him.
Seattle will go for 2. To try to increase their lead to 7. Alexander in motion, and the conversion works. Christian Fourier. And another lead change. 22-16, Seattle. 6:21 left in the third, and for the best NFL coverage on the net, including expert analysis and live scoreboards, go to cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. Dell kicks. Seattle with a 22-16 lead. It's taken by Jenkins. Across the field, trying the left side, and driven out of bounds at about the 25-yard line by Alex Bannister. Once again, Seattle clinging to their playoff hopes. They have to win today and next week at home against Kansas City, and then hope that either the Ravens or the Jets lose. The Ravens play a week from tomorrow against Minnesota, and the Jets have to play at Oakland.
It's looking good for Seattle because next week Seattle plays at home against Kansas City.
Flutie brings up the Chargers, and they'll try to answer with 6:09 left in the third. Flutie will throw it. Incomplete. That was intended for Gaylor, who's gotten a lot of work today.
Got a lot of work, and actually Ken Lucas caught a break there. He actually made contact with Gaylor's back. Take a look here. He's going to push him as he makes his break, make contact with his back right there, and he trips and falls. That could have been pass interference.
Gaylor thought so. Looking around for the flag, which didn't come. So 2nd and 10 from the 27. Draw. Tomlin's able to take the hit and spins to get across the 30 and out to the 32. Chad Brown and Marcus Robertson combined to make the tackle, but that was one of the things that Levon Kirkland talked about, how difficult it is to get a solid hit on LaDainian Tomlinson.
Kirkland said something that amazed me. He said that Tomlinson is in the range of Barry Sanders for being shifty and change of direction. He's not there yet, but he can be compared to Barry. Now, if a cook at a local fast food restaurant tells you that, that's one thing. But when Levon Kirkland pays him that kind of a compliment, that means something.
3rd and 5. Seattle showing blitz, and here they come. Flutie gets rid of it in a hurry. Incomplete. So the Chargers will have to punt. That that was intended for Trevor Gaylor, and Flutie had to get rid of it quicker than he wanted to.
And Flutie is being booed, and that's one of the things that the fans need to understand is just because it's an incomplete pass doesn't mean it was the quarterback's fault. He couldn't throw on rhythm because of the pressure.
Charlie Rogers,
Again, Darren Bennett. Charlie Rogers is back deep for Seattle, standing at his own 23-yard line. Long count. Bennett, high, booming kick. Rogers takes it. And gets it out to the 32-yard line, and that's where Trent Dilfer and company will take over after a 48-yard punt and an 11-yard return. 22-16, Seattle.
Pepsi and Diet Pepsi with a twist of lemon.
Trent Dilfer, 10 of 16 for 204 yards and 3 touchdowns as he tries to win his 14th consecutive start. 5:01 left in the third. Dilfer outside. Darrell Jackson driven out of bounds at about the 40.
Well, imagine that you're at a hockey game. You're the puck. Here's what it feels like if you're a special teams guy. That's Nate Turner going against Ike Charlton and Paul Miranda. And they double team him because he's the headhunter on the outside to go get the punter. And there is no way in the world he's going to get a shot at it. That's just a thankless job.
2nd and 2 after the pickup of 8. Alexander just past the line of scrimmage. The Seahawks, after going for 2, lead by 6, 22-16. Chargers started with a 13-0 lead. The Seahawks came back with 14 unanswered points. Chargers regained the lead with a 40-yard field goal by Steve Christie early in the third quarter, and then the touchdown pass to Williams, his first career touchdown reception, and Seattle regains the lead. 3rd and short from the 40. Dilfer gets rid of it, and that's going to be close to a first down, caught by Jackson.
It was a good check down by Dilfer. He wanted to go to his tight end, Tulamili, who was in motion going across the formation. But Gerald Dixon was all over him. Now right there is where he wants to go. Look at Dilfer looking at it. But he's covered, so he comes back to Jackson.
Spotted at the 45. That was the first 3rd down conversion for Seattle. Alexander close to midfield.
Well, here's another train wreck. Junior Seau is coming up into those gaps and trying to hit the ones where he thinks they'll be the most disruptive. And he has a heck of a collision in there with Robbie Toback, the center. Take a look at Junior Seau right there. Look what he does. Boom! That's a collision. Toback does a nice job of staying with it.
Sean Alexander, 16 carries, 45 yards. High formation. San Diego showing the blitz. Now they back off of it after Dilfer checks off at the line of scrimmage. Up the sidelines. Big hit and incomplete. Intended for Jackson, who took a shot.
Dilfer is looking for a penalty there. Jackson did take a shot. That time it was terrific coverage. And out there you've got one of the guys you don't want to get hit by. Tay Cody, you can get hit by him, but number 37, Rodney Harrison, right there, is not the guy you want to get hit by.
Man.
Ever. I mean, if you are the Eiffel Tower, you don't want to get hit by that guy.
That brings up 3rd and 5. Boy, the ball right at midfield.
Look at Jackson. He's still trying to get himself composed.
And Seattle takes a timeout. 22-16, Seahawks. 2:27 left in the third. 22-16 Seattle. Tonight, if you're into nostalgia, so is 60 Minutes. And who better to get nostalgic about than Carol Burnett? That's tonight on 60 Minutes. Judging by the crowd, you wouldn't know that
The Chargers have lost 8 in a row. 3rd down and 5. Big hit. Who else? Rodney Harrison. And Rodney Harrison has had to be very careful where he hits people. Last week, he was called for hitting the quarterback in the head. Now he comes and cries, boom, Corn Robinson, rookie, welcome to the NFL. Thank you very much. My name's Mr. Harrison to you, Rodney to the fans. This is just a hit. Oh, boy. But the problem is the officials have seen him for so many years hit so hard that they call him for personal fouls more than he really deserves. Last week against Kansas City, San Diego's defense had a interception that would have iced the game. As we see, they're short. They did not make the first down on that big hit. But Rodney Harrison on that play was called for a blow to the head of Trent Green. It nullified it. The Chargers lost on giving up the score. Now tell me if you think he hits him in the head. See, I don't think he hits him in the head. I think the official's right there, but I think that's because they're so accustomed to seeing Rodney Harrison decleat people that they call him tighter than other people. And he's really had to be careful and adjust how he plays, because a Rodney Harrison hit might get a penalty, whereas the identical hit from some guy you've never heard of without a reputation wouldn't get called.
It negated an interception by Leonardo Carson that would have sealed it for San Diego, but the Chiefs went on to score and win 20-17. The big hit keeps Seattle from making a first down. Eagles punt. Bounds into the end zone. A 46-yard punt and no return. Well, Sunday, the NFL on CBS wraps up the regular season and gets you set for the playoffs with doubleheader excitement. First, the Jacksonville Jaguars try to disrupt the playoff-bound Bears. New England takes on Carolina. Then Vinny and the Jets take on Jerry Rice and the Raiders. And that will be a big game. Keon on the NFL Today. And for more, go to NFL.com or America Online, keyword NFL.com. San Diego, 1st and 10 from the 20. Flutie going deep. Who has it? Intercepted. Lucas and Gaylor battled for the ball, and Lucas won.
They've been going for the physical mismatch out there. Lucas is taking his shots, but boy, he does a good job here. Press coverage, and this has been mano-a-mano all game long. Lucas sees Gaylor look back. He turns his head. And once again, the ball is slightly underthrown. If you want your taller receiver to use his leaping ability to make a physical play, you got to put the ball in front of him and up in the air.
Ken Lucas, rookie out of the University of Mississippi. And Seattle will take over 1st and 10 from their own 41. He's been bottled up most of the day. A pickup of a couple to the 45. Marcellus Wiley made the tackle.
And once again, Junior Seau anticipated that. He's an outside linebacker, and yet he got right up into the middle again, right in the exact spot Alexander tried to get. Take a look at Seau. He's right here, 55. Well, guess where they're trying to run? That same spot, but Junior preempts it, takes it away because he anticipates it and gets right in the hole. Pre-snap.
Pickup of 4. 2nd and 6. Flutie, by the way, has thrown for 228 yards, a touchdown, but 2 interceptions. Dilfer has it knocked away. Seattle keeps it. Todd Weiner was able to come up with the football after it was knocked away by Marcellus Wiley.
And that's the first time we have said Marcellus Wiley's name in conjunction with a tackle or a sack all game long. Weiner has done a terrific job against him, but this one play can make the difference between who gets the better of an offensive tackle, defensive end battle. But Todd Weiner, number 74, just gets beat by the speed of Wiley. That didn't happen last week against Michael Strahan. Weiner, it shut him out of sacks. The only sack that Strahan got last week was when he lined up against somebody other than Weiner.
Look at John Perella bring down the big man there. San Diego coming on the blitz. Dilfer's down. second sack of the year. And that's the end of the third quarter with our score: Seattle 22, San Diego 16. We'll return right after these messages. And a word from your local station. We're going to have a word with the fellas after that last play. Guys, we're still in the playoff hunt. We cannot play sloppy. Eagles on the punt. Glenn Milburn takes it at the 25. Back in the back. 2 flags are down, and so is Milburn at the 26. Tackled by Tim Terry, backup linebacker. Let's check the flag.
Ronnie Jenkins clipped. Pushes man as the back, and a lot of people around here think that Jenkins has had a Pro Bowl special teams year, but that play right there is just absolutely no excuse for that. And Holmgren, send him back.
Illegal block in the back. Number 28 on the receiving team. During the return, it's a 10-yard penalty. It'll be a first down for San Diego. Timeout.
And Bill, it doesn't take many of those to happen to you in a game to lose 8 in a row.
Just underway in the fourth quarter, and following the game, log on to NFL.com and get the latest updates on the playoff picture as well as analysis from the experts. It's all at NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com. Chargers 1st and 10 from their own 16. Flutie complete to the 25. Curtis Conway made the reception. And once again, let's check in with Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, Bill McAtee. Pittsburgh would benefit if the Raiders fall to the Broncos. It would give Pittsburgh home field throughout. Broncos take the lead right here. Rod Smith, he has now 105 catches on the season. That's a new Bronco record. And the Giants within 1 of the Eagles. 7:25 to play, fourth quarter. And let's go back to Bill and Trevor.
And Rod Smith hobbled in recent weeks because of the ankle injury. Keep you updated on that game. Tomlinson left side. Chad Brown made the tackle. Before that carry, Tomlinson had run the ball 11 times for only 37 yards.
They've done a nice job at scheming him. In addition to that, the offensive line of the Chargers has been a bit inconsistent, and that's one of the places where they will draft high no matter what this coming draft.
Fresh set of downs for San Diego. 1st and 10 from the 26. Prairie in motion. Flutie. And that was intended for Trevor Gaylor, but well short.
Well short? You don't say that. That's mean. Oh, you meant the pass.
Numbers for Flutie: 23 of 37, 237, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. There has been some conversation here in the San Diego area about whether or not Drew Brees should have gotten some playing time here late in the season, but Mike Riley feeling like Doug Flutie gave the Chargers their best chance to win. So Brees has seen very limited action, only 1 game this year. And that's caught by Freddie Jones. And a San Diego first down. Nice touch from Flutie.
And the truth of it is, Flutie does give San Diego the best chance to win this year. Again, they've lost 8 in a row, but 7 of their losses, the offense had them in position to win. The defense gave up the losing score in the last 3 minutes or in overtime. And, there's blame to go around. Flutie has not played perfectly. But at the same time, people say, well, we have a better chance to win with the rookie Drew Brees. I don't think you hardly ever have a better chance to win with a rookie quarterback.
15 yards on the completion. Right for 41. Flutie will throw again. Gaylor still on his feet and down inside the 30. Ken Lucas saved the touchdown.
Now, Flutie just stepped up and drilled it in there to Trevor Gaylor. Gaylor's a guy that's got a future in this league if he learns how to work hard. You know, he makes spectacular plays like that, but then he'll drop a few. He needs to stay after practice on the judge machine and catch balls. Flutie steps up, fires the ball, hops in the air. I love that enthusiasm. And then Gaylor sticks his hands out and makes a great catch. Now, his work habits are going to dictate whether he can keep that going and have a long NFL career.
Pickup of 31, and Seattle is going to take a timeout. Fourth quarter, 22-16 Seahawks. .12:07 left to play. The Chargers are driving. 1st and 10 from the 28. Tomlinson in motion. Spreads out wide to the right. They go left to Conway, and he's tackled immediately at the 25 by Ken Lucas. And let's check in once again with Scott Kaplan. Scott?
Guys, you're probably wondering why Doug Flutie's wearing gloves. Certainly it's not cold out and it's not wet out. But Doug Flutie said when he was playing in the Canadian Football League, he started wearing these rubber gloves because it's a better grip on the football. These are gloves that glass cutters use to palm the glass and move it. But Doug gets a better grip on the football. Back to you, Bill.
All right, Scott, thank you very much. 2nd and 6. Flutie straight back. Close to the first down, appears to be just short.
And boy, you look at the spiral on that ball. You watch Doug in practice and in games wearing those gloves, and the spiral is almost unnaturally tight. It's like a computer-generated spiral. And I wonder how long those gloves will be legal. You know, it's legal to wear regular leather gloves with the tackifying material on it. But look at this ball in the air. That's just a unnaturally tight spiral. And so I wonder if the NFL will let him keep using that, because what a huge advantage to have rubber gloves instead of leather gloves.
3rd and short. Seahawks lead by 6. Tomlinson. This will be close. Anthony Simmons made the stop. This is Seattle's final road game as a member of the AFC West. The NFL wanted to preserve the original members of the AFC West, so the Chargers will stay there along with Oakland, Kansas City, and Denver, while the Seahawks will move to the NFC West next year,
where they will be matched with St. Louis and San Francisco. That's no favor to the Seahawks. But you know what? They won't have to go play Oakland anymore. Chad Eaton was telling us yesterday that he went down for the first time to play the Raiders in Oakland, and some guy dressed as the Grim Reaper was yelling about all the 7 levels of hell that he was doomed to. And he said, man, you know, I'm just glad we're not going to have to go there every year again.
I don't think you can be much closer than that.
Well, the fans want him to go for it. And the coach, you know, coach believes he won't be here. You know, he hasn't said that, but just in talking to him. And you know what? If this is your shot, take your shot.
8-game losing streak. You're out of the playoffs. Might be Mike Riley's last game as head coach of the Chargers, so why not indeed? Fourth and about an inch. Movement.
False start. Number 64, the center moved his off arm to draw the defense. The 5-yard penalty remains 4th down.
Well, you know, it's 3rd and short. You know, a savvy center will try to do little things. Because take a look at his off arm right there. No, he actually thought that that was the snap. No, that was just a clean on a false start.
So a 41-yard field goal try upcoming from Steve Christie, who already has one from 40 that rattled around the crossbars. This one is true. 41 yards, 10-11 remaining. 22-19 Seattle.
This is where a position coach needs to understand his players. Joe Bugel telling something to Ed Ellis, and Ed doesn't like it. The coach needs to know what buttons to push, but how to not push him too far to keep him at a fever pitch.
Wade Ritchie kicks off for San Diego. Taken at the 2 by Charlie Rogers. And brought down at the 27-yard line. Fred McCrary made the tackle. Well, Saturday, CBS Sports goes wall-to-wall with women's hoops, a triple-header. First Penn State and Vanderbilt, then Michigan State plays host to Georgia, and in the balls of Tennessee, number 1 against number 2. And for more, go to cbs.sportsline or America Online, keyword CBS Sportsline. So Seattle's lead cut to 3, 22-19. Alexander. Again, no running room.
You know what, I'll tell you this. All the injuries to the corners. Today, Lloyd Harrison goes out. Scott Turner is out with a bad back. San Diego does not have another corner on the field that could take the field who is not going to be severely injured and playing severely limited. If I'm Seattle, I put 3 and 4 wide receivers on the field and make those safeties, backup safeties, cover.
Rodney Harrison limping noticeably. 2nd and 9 after the pickup of 1. Seau on the blitz. Stilfer able to get rid of it, and there's a flag down.
Well, that was a hit. Big hit in the middle.
Corn Robinson, the rookie, made the catch. Let's check the penalty.
But, Bill, here's why you want to spread the field. You want to keep the clock running if you're Seattle. But if you spread the field with wide receivers, San Diego has to respect the deep pass, and they can't stack the line against the run.
Offsides. Number 55 defense. The 5-yard penalty remains 2nd down.
Let's do your Seau getting up there and trying to disrupt again. He got up a little too far. Number 55, there he comes in, and boy, his hand might have been across. That was pretty close. The offensive line's been complaining to the officials all game long, though, that he has been cheating that encroachment zone, the neutral zone, all game, and so they've been alert for it as the game has worked on. But I think if Seattle spreads the field with wide receivers, because of the depleted secondary, San Diego will have to keep an extra safety back to help cover man-to-man and cover in the zone, and that'll open up the running game.
9:21 remaining. 2nd and 4. Clock running. Dilfer, that's incomplete. That was intended for Christian Fourier, the tight end. Again, Seattle still in the playoff hunt. Here's who's in. Pittsburgh, Oakland, New England, Miami qualified today. A loss by Seattle either today or next week, and Baltimore and the Jets are in regardless. But if Seattle is able to win today and next week, and either Baltimore or the Jets lose, then Seattle is in. 3rd and 4. Dilfer will throw again. Incomplete. And he had it to Lamele all alone. That would have been a 1st down. But Seattle will have to punt.
Big stop for San Diego's defense. That's one of the first times since the first quarter that they've shut him down like this. And look at Dilfer's reaction. Yeah, he thinks that should have been caught.
Jeff Fiegels once again on 4th and 4. And Milburn standing back on his own 20. 9:07, clock running. Milburn waves to the fair catch and makes it at the 21. 47-yard punt, no return. Seattle with a 3-point lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura MDX, taking the SUV to a place it's never been before. And by Staples. Staples has everything you need for your business at great low prices.
These teams played 4 weeks ago at Husky Stadium. Seattle won in overtime on a 24-yard Ryan Lindell field goal. Another tight one today. 8:59 remaining. 1st and 10 for the Chargers from their own 21. Flutie with time.
It's a veteran read by Flutie. Conway cleared the coverage deep. Freddie Jones cut up underneath, and Flutie waited for it to develop, and then he hit him. He's going to that side the entire time, staring to the right, but he's staring at Conway, and as Conway then clears deep, he then throws the ball medium to his tight end.
From the 40, 1st and 10. 8.5 minutes remaining. Flutie gets rid of it to Tomlinson, who has some room. Into Seattle territory.
And you know, Seattle's playing really soft right now. They're really starting to give up some of these underneath pass routes. Think if they just come up and make a tackle. But they're only a field goal away from a tie game. Flutie's under pressure, but has no need to throw this ball with pinpoint accuracy because there's no one within 10 yards of Tomlinson when he catches the ball.
Tomlinson's been contained on the ground, 13 carries, 38 yards, but he has 9 receptions for 62 yards. And a team record total yards from scrimmage. Flutie sacked. Chad Brown.
Chad Brown does a matador ole. This is a swim move. What you do is wait for the offensive lineman to settle in and try to drill you. There's Chad. And then you take your right arm over the top and you go through. And that was Tomlinson that time, the rookie, that he victimized with that move.
8.5 sacks on the year for Chad Brown. Some help there from Anthony Simmons.
Notice how long he kept that grip on Flutie. Still thinks on the ground he might squirt away from his grasp.
Loss of 8, 2nd and 18. Inside of 7.5 minutes remaining. Flutie gets rid of it. Again, it's Tomlinson. Close to midfield. Simmons made the stop.
Now the Chargers are coming down to it. Just over 7 minutes to play. They'll probably have another 2 or 3 drives after this to try to go and score. And if Seattle is able to pad the lead, that'll be even more difficult for San Diego to catch up. So this is an important conversion for them, even though it's 3rd and long.
3rd and 13. Flutie. And movement on the line of scrimmage. Looks like the call will go against San Diego.
Number 82 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And once again, a wide receiver on a false start. The wide receiver is supposed to look at the ball, not listen to the hard count. Now that's a rookie, but I can't imagine that he didn't do that all through high school and college.
9th penalty against San Diego. Moves it back to the 45 and 3rd and 18. Flutie steps up. And nowhere to go. Antonio Cochran with his 4th sack of the year.
That's what Mike Holmgren meant when he said you can't teach a young team how to win. They have to do it and see what it feels like. They have to see what it feels like to make a play. Cochran working on Kendall Jaycox, and he's not trying to rush. He's just looking at Flutie, and when Flutie breaks, so does Cochran. Almost loses his helmet, but makes a big play for his young team.
Darren Bennett averaging 45 yards a punt today, standing at his own 25. Miscommunication there between Kerry Joseph and Charlie Rogers, but no harm. A 42-yard punt. See if we can tell what happened.
The rule is you never go back to field a punt. Kerry Joseph went back to try to field that. You never do that. If it goes over your head, you go forward, not back. Let the guys behind you come up on it.
5:47 left to play. Seattle takes over 1st and 10 from their own 19, leading by 3. Alexander crossed the 20, but a penalty flag.
Penalty flag in the backfield.
Seau and McNeil combined to make the stop.
Ryan McNeil with the tackle.
You know, Mike Holmgren is remarkably composed. Mike Riley is always composed. But Mike Holmgren, you know, situations like this, plays like that.
Holding. 76 offense. Half the distance to the goal. It remains first down.
You know, that's Steve Hutchinson, rookie guard. He's had a spectacular year. A lot of people think deserves Pro Bowl consideration. Yeah, there's the hold right there. And he does, but I'm amazed at how composed Mike Holmgren was there.
Hutchinson was the second pick, Trevor, in the first round behind Corin Robinson. And you're right, he's had a great year. First and 19. Dilfer will go to the air. Throws it up for grabs. Intercepted. No, it looks like Williams was able to hang on to it.
Man coverage again. All three.
Wow.
All three of Seattle's touchdowns have come on man coverage, big pass plays. Trent Dilfer told us yesterday that they're able to anticipate what San Diego is trying to do on defense and call the exact right pass route at that moment. And here again, we have a huge play. Now, the officials are trying to decide, did the ball hit the ground before he had possession of it?
To complete a pass, the player rolls over and he's touched while on the ground. Therefore, he's down by contact. First down.
But it's amazing, though, that the loss of defensive coordinator Joe Pascal. San Diego or Seattle knows that this is the coverage they're going to get. Now take a look. When he hits the ground, the ball comes out, but it's down by contact. The key there, Bill, is this. This is what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at is that Seattle is anticipating when they're going to get this kind of coverage. Now let's take a look at who's got the ball when it's down. Right there, both of them have it. Right there, both players have the ball when Williams' knee hits the ground. When Williams' knee hits the ground, both guys have the ball. Take a look. Point. Now, at that point, since they both have the ball equally, when the offensive player's knee hits the ground, he's down by contact. Tie goes to the wide receiver. And Seattle quick snapped that last play so they couldn't review it.
Taking no chances, and they keep it on the ground. Alexander down to the 37. That was, by the way, the pass play. Gained 46 yards. But now 3rd and 3 from the 37. Clock ticking, just over 4 minutes remaining.
Well, a lot of stuff happened on that play, Bill. But, you know, it really is a microcosm of how Seattle has been successful offensively today. They anticipate when they get man coverage. They call the best routes for man coverage, and then they make the big physical play at the end, and that's why they're ahead.
3rd and 3. They keep it on the ground. Flags are down. Alexander dropped for a loss by Junior Seau. Trent Dilfer is signaling that it's against San Diego.
Looks like it might be offsides once again. And Mike Riley can't believe it. He's asking, who's on? Who's it on? Of all things.
Offsides. Number 97 defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. The 5-yard is a first down.
John Perella, the veteran.
He's saying, I lined up in the same spot I've been lining up all game. Perella's right down here. Oh, check that. Perella's right there. Got him on the opposite side. And it looks like he probably is lined up in the neutral zone. Good call by the official.
So a first down for Seattle. 8 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams have been decided by 8 points or less, and that's not necessarily good news for the Chargers. They've won only twice in their last 17 games decided by that margin. Good defensive stop by Rodney Harrison. Clock continuing to run inside of 3.5 minutes left now. 22-19 Seattle. Seahawks still mathematically alive for the playoffs. San Diego playing perhaps their final game under Mike Riley. A man that everyone really seems to like. And they can feel for his situation, an 8-game losing streak. So plenty on the line. Alexander inside the 30. Perella made the tackle. take a timeout. 2:51 remaining. We mentioned they played about 4 weeks ago at Husky Stadium. Ryan Lindell missed that one in the closing seconds that would have given Seattle the win, but he got another chance in overtime for 24 yards out. He made it, and the Seahawks won 13-10. And that's the kind of year it's been from Mike Riley. 7 times the Chargers have lost in the final 3 minutes. An 8-game losing streak.
And Mike Riley, so well respected by everybody that knows him, has been dealt a really difficult hand this year, especially on defense, having to play with 3 different defensive coordinators. That's a highly unusual thing ever in the NFL. But you know what? It's the captain of the ship that has to take the responsibility. And Mike Riley is the captain of this ship.
Seattle only 1 of 9 on 3rd down. Alexander, nothing there. Corella made the stop. And again, San Diego will take a timeout. 2:43 left. And here's the lineup tonight on. There's the Warrior, 10 consecutive Pro Bowls for Junior Seau. And Ryan Lindell will come out and attempt a field goal.
Now, this is a huge deal because if he makes this, the Chargers have to score a touchdown, which is a lot different in the 2-minute drill than just getting into field goal range.
He's had an inconsistent year, 19 of 29. This would be from 47. He has a long of 52, but only 50% from 40 yards or more. He's made 8 of 16.
Now, the guy to watch here is the snapper, Jean-Philippe Darche. He's not a big guy. He's a snapping specialist. San Diego is going to stack up right over him because that's the weak spot in the line and try to bulldoze through because this being a long field goal, it'll come out a little low.
From 47 yards. No good. Well, we talked to Mike Holmgren about his kicker. He said, well, he's had an erratic season.
And this especially, you know, kickers, when they miss it in the first quarter, that's one thing. But boy, when you miss it towards the end of the game, which will extend the lead or a game winner, the one he missed last time against San Diego was a potential game winner at the end of the game, made up for it by kicking the actual game winner in overtime. But that was huge because it changes what San Diego needs to do.
They had spotted it, the kick at the 38, so that's where San Diego will take over. 1st and 10. And wouldn't it be ironic if they, after all they've been through, are able to win in the final 3 minutes?
Now, if this comes down to a long-range field goal, Steve Christie will kick him short. But the kickoff man is Wade Ritchie. And if this is a long field goal for San Diego, Ritchie will be the guy, so they'll both warm up. Number 5, that's Wade Ritchie. And there's Christie right there.
.231 left. 2nd and 10 for San Diego. 22-19. The score remains. Flutie runs it, and that could have been picked off.
Boy, that's what we talked about Trevor Gaylor. He has got a future, but he is not an extra practice guy. And he'll drop balls in critical situations. And here is a critical situation. This could have been an interception. When a ball goes up in the air like that, when safeties are coming up, that's Marcus Robertson. Had a shot at it. Boy, that's when you want your rookie after practice. It shows up here in a 2-minute drill.
3rd down. Both teams with 1 timeout remaining. Flutie under pressure. Conway, and what an adjustment he made. And the ruling that he was down. He's slid around Ken Lucas and made the catch.
And we haven't said Sean Springs' name all game long. Sean Springs, Pro Bowl caliber corner. He's out right now with a strained hamstring. This ball just goes up in the air so the veteran can take advantage of the rookie Ken Lucas, number 21. And he does. He turns Lucas around. He loses his balance and he falls down. If Sean Springs is on the field, does that happen? I don't think so. That hurts Seattle.
We've reached the 2-minute warning.
Charger girls.
Seattle trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, and the Chargers may call on the leg of Wade Ritchie to send this game into overtime. 2 minutes remaining. 1st and 10 from the 38. Flutie. Complete and down to the 36-yard line is Patrick Bateau, and once again, let's check in with Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, they've seen the Bucs in the wild card weekend. Let's go back to you.
Wow, what a finish. Thank you, Jim. 2nd and 8 from the 36. Conway again, he's over 150 yards. Lucas made the tackle.
And another drilled pass by Flutie to his veteran receiver, Curtis Conway. Now they're well within Steve Christie's range. It goes over from Ritchie over to Christie now.
San Diego with 1 timeout remaining. Flutie inside the 25 and down to the 24 and dragged down by Tim Terry, the backup linebacker.
It's interesting that Seattle's not stopping the clock right now. They've got 1 timeout left. Looks like they're content to maybe take it to overtime. I call timeout.
2nd and 7. Flutie under pressure. Tried to get it out to Tomlinson, incomplete.
If I'm Seattle, I call timeout the time before on the chance that they might be able to, if they do kick a field goal here successfully, they might have a shot to take it down and get into field goal range themselves before the end of regulation.
On CBS. Steve Christie getting close to his range. Flutie straight back. Complete. Gaylor, a huge catch
against the rookie Ken Lucas.
And once again, let's send you to New York for an NFL update.
And another thrilling finish, this one at Mile High. The Broncos lead the Raiders by 6. Last play of the game for the Raiders. Gannon throws it to the end zone. Kenoy Kennedy picks it off. And with that win by the Broncos, the Steelers have home field throughout the AFC playoffs. Let's go back again to Bill and Trevor.
And a great finish here in San Diego as Seattle tries to keep their playoff hopes alive. 1st down from the 11. Flutie flushed in the pocket. Sacked.
The clock stops for 5 seconds on the sack, and then it'll continue to run.
Tim Terry made the sack, his 2nd of the season. The numbers for Flutie, 34-51, 377 yards. The clock runs. 33 seconds remaining. 2nd and 17. Flutie incomplete, trying to hit Gaylor. 25 seconds left. 3rd and 17.
Seattle was here last week. Kerry Collins instead of Flutie. 2-minute drive to score the winning touchdown. Will they give it up again, this time to Flutie?
3rd and 17.
Deja vu for the Seahawks.
They went to overtime 4 weeks ago. Chargers trying to snap an 8-game losing streak as they close out their season. Flutie on 3rd down. Threw it away over the head of Curtis Conway. Again, good coverage from Ken Lucas, the rookie out of Mississippi, 2nd-round draft pick.
Lucas has been there. They've been going after him, and sometimes he's won, sometimes they have. But this field goal now, this will send it to overtime again. How close can these two teams possibly be?
Christie has been perfect.
Come on, no.
It's good. 5 of 5. New life for the Chargers.
Good snap, good hold. Mentally, he's right into it. You've got a veteran in Christie. The pressure doesn't bother him. He gets it through. And he just knows it. He acts like he's been there before and like he'll be there again. And this team has not rolled over and quit on their coach, Mike Riley. Chargers are going nowhere, but they're going to overtime because they want to win one for that man.
(32, 25, 40, 41, and 36 yards. What a day for Steve Christie. Well, we mentioned that this is the 46th meeting between the Chargers and the Seahawks. It's been a very close series over the years. Seattle came in leading at 23-22, and in total points, only 9 points separated these teams in those 45 previous meetings.
And as of this moment, it's still 9 points because they're tied up. Now, Charlie Rogers, one of the finest kick returners in the NFL, has not broken a return for a touchdown this year. This is one of the finest special teams units in the league, the Seattle Seahawks. This is a very big deal for the Chargers to cover this because Seattle will have one play and then try to kick a field goal.
Wade Ritchie kicks it off. Rodgers at the goal line. Has some room. Caught from behind, 7 seconds remaining. Ronnie Jenkins probably saved the touchdown.
Well, with 6 seconds to go and 1 timeout left, this return puts them in position to win it. Hasn't sprung one all year, but great blocking at the point of attack. Pete Rodriguez's men, very good fundamentally, and now they can attempt a long field goal from here, but they still have time. Oh, they're not even going to take the time. I thought they'd run a play.
Ryan Lindell has a long of 52. This would be from 54 yards out after the 64-yard kickoff return. It's good. And Seattle remains alive in the playoff picture.
Mike Holmgren, how do you teach a young team how to win the close games on the road? You just have to do it. Last week they did. This week, they learned a lesson.
And that shot of Mike Riley on the sidelines said it all. It's been such a frustrating season, but credit Ryan Lindell, an erratic season from him, but pure there. His long of the year, 54 yards, and there's the expression.
And look at his eyes. His eyes look tired, and that's a good man right there. And bad things are happening to him. Mike Holmgren can't believe it either. He did not expect that to happen, but he'll take it.
So here's how things look. Seattle has to win next week against Kansas City and hope that the Ravens lose against Minnesota on Monday night or the Jets lose at Oakland.
And Oakland and New England at 10-5. Whoever has the second seed will get the bye in the first week of the playoffs. So that game that the Jets have to play in Oakland means a lot to the Raiders in addition to the Jets. The Raiders will play hard. It will be difficult for the Jets to win. Why is that important? Because Seattle makes it if they win and the Jets lose.
Once again, our lineup tonight on CBS. It all begins with 60 Minutes and then the CBS Sunday movie Eraser. A 54-yard field in the closing seconds gives the Seahawks the win 25-22. For Trevor Maddux and Scott Kaplan, this is Bill McAtee saying so long from Qualcomm Stadium. You've been watching the NFL